Unfortunately, I was not able to put a deer down this fall, and my freezer will continue to look diminished until next year. This was an odd year for hunting with abnormally high temps in the second and third weekends of Minnesota rifle season. I have no doubt that the weather influenced deer movement in the areas that I hunted. I know many people are attributing this year's poor harvest to wolf populations causing the decline of deer numbers, especially in the northern parts of the state. I had wolf run right under my stand this year, and that was pretty new for me. I was still able to get myself on deer this year, but never had the right opportunity. Some deer came in before shooting light, and others in the opposite direction of where I was expecting. Overall, it was still just as exciting as any other year, and like every other hunter, I can't wait to get out next year. Right, it's a little after 6 a.m. We have about a half-hour walk back in. Goal is to not get sweaty because it's 18 degrees out right now. Sat till about 9:30, 10 o'clock. It was pretty warm. The new First Light Sanctuary bibs were amazing. I heard very few shots up here. So where we're hunting is the northeast-ish kind of area of Minnesota right now. Wolf population's definitely up. Carl, who I hunt with, has seen lots of wolves. A couple bears on his trail cam. He saw wolves 2 nights ago on his trail cam. I think sometime in the near future here, there's gonna have to be some sort of a wolf season. Otherwise, deer hunting in the north is just gonna be hard going.
So what do you propose? We just walk in?
It's the only really good way to get through there. Sounds like so.
We're not going that way, we're going this way. How about that tree line?
That one?
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna put myself.
And that is public.
Correct.
And then how far does that go?
A long ass way.
Okay, all right. So we can wander around there.
2 grouse on the trail right in front of me. They are right in front of me on this trail. Watch him fly. At the bottom of his tree stand. I'd have 2 grouse in my bag right now. Hello. Fly away. No flying, huh? Not so smart. Run. Run away. There you go. The other one fly off too. It's always when you're not targeting them. Always. There we go. That's scrape number 2. We are on a cruising trail right now. Look at the way I just came from. Look at the path through the weeds there. Scrape, licking branch. We are absolutely on a cruising trail right now. That didn't go so well. I found that cruising trail in the second scrape and I really wanted to just sit down, lay low, but those guys, they kept driving and making a ton of noise. 3 more guys got dropped off from trucks and were walking in and posted up maybe 200, 300, 400 feet from me. That's just too much for me, so we took off from there. We're back on the private. I'm gonna go back to where I was sitting this morning. We'll see if we get anything. 2 years in a row, there's a grouse playing under my stand. Son of a gun. Second one over in the woods over here. Brought the wrong gun out. We are up the tree here, sitting right on the edge of the meadow and the swamp slough. And I don't know how, but we have a perfect wind for this spot today. Pretty excited about that. Hopefully if something is walking by, there's no chance they're gonna smell me. Pretty quiet yet this morning. Just a whole lot of red squirrels chattering. We're gonna keep hanging in here till about 10:30. Then I'm hoping to be back out looking for deer on Friday next week. I got Friday off work, so we're gonna go up somewhere in central Minnesota on some public land and try and get after some more deer. Oh, good morning. It is about 5:15 on Friday of second weekend of deer hunting. I've scouted 3 spots about an hour north of the metro area of the Twin Cities. I actually picked the smallest parcel. It's just a 40-acre parcel, and the reason for doing that is I feel like a lot of people are drawn to bigger parcels. There's a lot of land, they can go wherever. well, then these smaller bits get overlooked. So I'm gonna hop in here, try and get on stand really, really early. We have a northwest wind, about 8 miles an hour today. Hopefully the deer are moving. I'm around a lot of bedding areas with not a lot of tree cover. So this tree stand that I'm gonna be in is just about the only stand of trees in the area. So hopefully we see something. Hopefully no one moves in on me. There are a lot of cars out this morning, so it's gonna be a busy day in the woods. Saw some orange walking in already. I got a deer sitting in the private field over here to my right. Right along the edge of the field. I can't tell yet if it's a buck or a doe, but we gotta wait for it to get onto private or public anyway. He's moving around the edge of the swamp slough, and then he just came into the woods. Alright, we're a few minutes after shooting light here. Finally got some light that the GoPro can pick up, but that deer that we saw was sitting right out on the edge of this field. And now that I see it, there's a scrape right at the edge of the field, and it left. I don't know if it smelled me or caught me, but it came back in this way. We haven't heard it or seen it in the last couple of minutes here. There's deer here. I think you can see it a little better right now. It's right on the edge of the field there. There's a really nice licking branch right above that scrape, and it's pretty far off the ground. So this morning, I'm almost certain that that was a buck there. We had a northwest wind, and that scrape is almost exactly west of me. So I hope he didn't catch my scent, and he just kind of moved naturally along that transition there between the marsh and the tree line. Because if he did it on his own, then maybe he'll come back through. It's about 11 o'clock now. Sitting on stand for about 5 hours. Have not seen anything since the deer touching that scrape up this morning. Probably gonna get down, getting a little antsy. Not terribly cold, but a little cold. I want to walk this 40 here and see if I can find any other sign. I might come back here on Sunday. And on Sunday we're gonna have a south wind. So if we have a south wind, I want to go check out the north side of this property so I can get myself set up in a way where the wind's not going to give me away to anything coming through here. I did find another scrape as well as a rub right next to it on the north side. So there's a deer in here. He's rutting. I don't know what size he is. He could be the one I saw this morning. Maybe the one I saw this morning was just a doe checking out a scrape. I don't know, but there's deer in here. Well, I don't know if that's an omen or not, but I'm heading back out to that 40-acre piece I hunted on Friday, and I almost just smoked an 8-point deer. Walking right across the road, full brakes, both feet. Deer are moving. It's dark out, obviously, but deer are moving. Second buck I saw this morning, just on the side of the road here, jumping off the road into the swamp slough about 3 miles away from our hunting spot. They're moving. I'm excited. I think this could be a good morning for us. I'm set up on the north side of this piece that I scouted after my sit on Friday. And that scrape was right down there, and the rub was right over here. So putting ourselves right on top of the deer sign, hoping they come back through and revisit that scrape or that rub. I got a deer coming around behind me in the slough. It's right back in here. So came into the slough really quiet behind me. I couldn't hear it until the last second. And it's skirting the slough behind me, south and west, farther away from me. It kept moving along the same buck trail I walked in. And now it's moving away, so I figured I'd give her a shot calling it over. We'll see if it bites. It's been a few minutes since I last saw that deer, probably 15 minutes. I only caught the one glimpse of it and it walked off. I still didn't know if it was a buck or a doe. It was using a buck trail. And given the scrapes in here, could very well have been a buck. I'm hoping they're bedding down in here and I can kick one up on the way out. So on the way out, I saw a guy leaving. He was sitting up at this tree. If he came in there and was sitting there, he would have had to have seen that deer if it came all the way out this way. So the only explanation I have is it went back through the swamp and maybe circled around. I don't know. Not quite sure where it went. Could still be sitting in there. I didn't walk through the middle of the swamp, so we don't know. But nonetheless, it was good seeing deer. Good getting on them. You watch my channel, you know we have it rough up in the north portion of the state, so it's nice getting down here and actually seeing deer. I mean, really, we're talking me being set up 15, 20 yards in the wrong direction. I got too far in from the swamp edge. That's the problem though, you know, you set up in a spot at night, you've never scouted that spot before. I'd scouted the south half and the north half I scouted yesterday, but the specific tree that I picked, I hadn't climbed up it. I didn't know what my sight lines were. Didn't know that my sight lines wouldn't allow me to see that buck trail on the edge of the swamp, so that's frustrating. That's on me obviously now. Next time I go out, I'm probably gonna sit right on top of the swamp trail and mess it up that way. Too bad. We're done for the weekend. Got to get home and do some stuff. But we're gonna be back out actually on Thursday, taking a long weekend here for third weekend. We're just gonna try and get back on the deer. Going up towards the cabin, so Brainerd area typically holds a good amount of deer. It's a few minutes till shooting light here. Got a pretty quiet walk in. Actually saw a blood trail on the way in. So maybe in the last week or so here, someone was in here and shot a deer. We have a weird southeast wind today. It's gonna be pushing my scent across this clear cut, so I'm focused on the deer, looping it and coming around the swamp or coming through the pines behind me. We had a wolf run through this morning about 10 minutes ago. Big old wolf. I mean, 3 feet tall at the shoulders and tip of the tail, tip of the nose. I mean, he was probably 5.5 feet long. That's a little different given how close we are to town. I really wasn't expecting that this morning. It's 7:26, about 36 minutes after sunrise. Alex just shot. Now he told me if it's brown, it's down this year, so I'm not sure if he got a doe or a buck. That wolf came right through, trotting along this entire way, and I got a really good peek at him right here, and he was about, I don't know, that wide from, 25 yards away. 100% a wolf, not a coyote. That thing was big. We're down the tree, all packed up, and we are going to go over and help Alex drag this deer out. I'm having like deja vu or something. You got it, buddy. Nice job.
You know the season I've had.
Well, in the multiple seasons, stick in 10s both years and they get away and just Got to get the freezer filled. This is uncanny. It's like
So that
almost
that log
identically.
right there is where I sat and looked at my buck last year.
And it sat
She
right
lied
here.
Right here.
And this doe, wow.
I think she's a fawn, but she's a big healthy fawn.
Good. Yeah, you need meat. That'll fill the freezer.
You know what I call that?
What?
Venison tacos.
Venison tacos right there.
After that wolf, I'm surprised we saw anything.
That's insane. We had that wolf come under my stand. Same wolf came right under Alex right away in the morning. These deer came the other direction probably, what, 20 minutes later?
Half an hour.
Half an hour? Just crazy. But we're so close to town. Man, they really like this trail coming through here.
This is a good spot we got.
I might have to sit here next year.
We'll see.
We're gonna fist fight for it, you know? We're heading back out to a piece farther south. Hopefully we see another couple of deer. The spot that we're going to is showing a lot of sign on aerial imagery, so we're gonna see if we can get in there, get on sign, and put our stands up in a smart spot.
It's 62 degrees right now, and it's supposed to be, you said 30?
At 5:15ish, so we're getting some crazy wind change and temperature drops with it.
Yeah, south wind right now. It'll shift to northwest by the time it's dark. Yeah, it's gonna be weird out there.
It's gonna be a nuts couple hours in the woods.
The deer might be moving as a as a function of the wind change.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Deer hammered the ground here. This doesn't look that old. Licking branch above it. It's a good sign. That wind, like we said, it changed up and it is kicking right now. Luckily, so we're looking about due north this way, and it's a northwest wind now, so it's pushing against all these pine rows. With the pine rows at my back, I got a pretty good wind block. So yeah, pretty ideal conditions here. The wind has pretty much died down. A couple more gusts, but nowhere near as bad as earlier. We'll see with the wind dying down and the colder temps if anything starts moving. Once that sun came up, I really got a lot better view of what I was looking at, and where I thought I was setting up. I thought I was gonna have, an 80-yard shot to the marsh, an 80-yard shot to the lake, better sight lines, and man, setting up in the dark in a tree you've never set up in before it's just not the move. I thought I was gonna be shooting over, thickets like this, but no, it's the densest popple. It's 20 to 30 feet tall. I couldn't even see the edge of the marsh. Right at opening light, I heard ice breaking out there. I was pretty sure it could have been a deer. Did not put myself in the right spot, so I'm just gonna get down really slow, really quietly, do some walking around. At this point, the morning hunt's a little shot. Never know, something could happen. Alex has a golden rule. He says, never set your stand up in a tree that you haven't scouted in the daylight. I broke that golden rule. I'm gonna have to adhere to that one from now on. we found all that sign. I'm walking out now. We're gonna put a game plan together for this afternoon. It's kind of goofy. I never really grouse hunt around my cabin, but I'm not kidding when I say I flushed in the last 15 minutes. I flushed 6 birds out of these sandy, piney pine rows. Just, I mean, there's young popple in here and aspens and stuff like that, but that's insane. We pulled back around to the spot we hunted last night and this morning again after looking at that sign that I saw this morning, the rubs, and I'd found a couple other scrapes in there as well. We're gonna get way back in there. We're seeing so much pressure out here now that with pressure it makes sense that bucks might actually kick back farther into the woods where I was. You ever see a creek and think, man, I want to get across that? That's a perfect island on the other side of there. Well, that's what happened right about there. That's a bedding island. It is a nice little spot if you can get across the creek, but, well, if you can't, you might end up pretty flippin' wet and having to put toe warmers on your feet while your boots dry out. Don't be like me. Stay dry. Saturday morning. A lot of folks out in the woods. We saw a lot of trucks this morning driving around. It's about 9:30 now. We're gonna do our best at finding a few more spots for this afternoon. Pick up Alex's deer from processing. It's already done. And then hopefully get out and get on deer this afternoon. I really thought this was gonna be the play this morning, but not the case. We're out at our afternoon spot here. We decided to scout. It's closer to town. Little clear-cut action bordering a lake. I'm just a couple minutes in on the walk-in and I have made a mess of myself. I have sticker bushes and burrs galore. I mean, they are absolutely everywhere in here. Just awful. Awful, awful. At this point, I just gotta zip up and then pick them out after. Just terrible. We are up the tree here, side of the lake. Little view of the clear-cut opening there that we just walked through. Little lowland depression, some nice contours in here, and a nice natural funnel. There's a lake on the other side of the clear-cut, so this is a very natural funneling area. If there's deer in here, they have to walk by us. We'll be able to see them. So hopefully they're moving. Hopefully there's pressure from other hunters driving them over to this area. Who knows? We'll see. I've only heard 2 or 3 shots all evening. It's Saturday of third weekend. That's wild. With numbers as low as they are, you know people are all back out in the woods for third weekend. And yet nothing. These deer are either not around or really hunkered down. Well, that one's gonna do it for us. Didn't see anything on the last sit here, unfortunately. It was an interesting year. We had some really weird weather all year actually. Spring was weird, fall was definitely weird. I mean, 40s and 50s in November is crazy. And when those deer have the winter coats on, combine that with all the heat, they don't want to move around. Whatever deer are left after predator population. I know a big issue this year people are talking about is wolves. I don't know if that's true. We did see a wolf, so it could be, but it was just wasn't in the cards for us this year. But still fun getting out on stand. You know, you only get to do this for 3 weeks out of the year, so who knows, maybe I'll have to pick up bow hunting so I can get out more. But the problem is then I cut into my duck hunting and grouse hunting time, and I love getting after birds with Mac. So that's what's on tap for the rest of the year here. Mac and I are gonna get out a few more times for grouse, and after that it's the start of my slow season. Maybe a few ice fishing trips and stuff like that, but nothing really else until turkey hunting and boundary waters come spring and summer. That'll do it for this one. Wasn't able to get the freezer filled, but there's always next year.